In this video, we're talking about dynamic pricing. What is it and why you should use it? So stay tuned. Vacation Rental Machine helps hosts just like you learn how to start, grow, and scale your short-term rental business. This show is all about creating systems that help you automate your business, giving you more time and money freedom. If you're ready to start living the vacation rental life, then subscribe to this podcast today. Come and join us on our Facebook group, The Host Nation, where we'll be talking about starting, automating, and scaling a short-term rental business. Now, on to the show. Hey, welcome back, Host Nation, to another episode of Vacation Rental Machine. I'm Julian Sage with my partner in crime, John Bell. And today we're talking about a pretty basic concept, which is dynamic pricing. What is it? Why you should be using it? If you're already seasoned in this industry, then you're probably already familiar with dynamic pricing and the benefits. Hopefully you are using it if you have been in this business for some time now and you have seen the benefits. If not, keep on listening because this video should convince you otherwise. If you have not already done that, it's very easy. And we do have videos talking and showing how to be able to implement that, which we'll also include down below. But if you are brand new to the short-term rental Airbnb industry, welcome. But dynamic pricing is going to be one of those tools that you will want to make sure that you're using because you're going to be leaving a lot of money on the table if you do not use this tool. So, John, what is dynamic pricing? What does this mean? Dynamic pricing. I can't just set $100 a night and become a millionaire. Is that not how this works? What is this?
No, that is not how this works. You're right. Every professional business in this industry uses dynamic pricing. When you go to book a hotel, you see that certain days are more expensive than other days. They're not just $120 a night. Hotels know when people are looking to travel, they compare themselves against other occupancies of other hotels, and airlines do the exact same thing. We all know that airline prices get more expensive the closer they are. Well, something needs to tell it to start adjusting and changing. At the same time, the airlines still know those high travel days, we're going to jack things up and they're going to be priced a certain way. And at the same time, what the airlines do, they kind of go down in the middle. They want to capture a good price if you're looking so far out. But if you're looking just maybe like 3 weeks in, maybe it's the cheapest that it's going to be. But as it comes closer and closer, it gets really expensive. What does that? Dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing helps put you at least 10 to 40% more in your pocket based upon the numbers that you're already happy with as your regular base price or your set price that you charge right now. Dynamic pricing takes that number and says, hey, I know that on these days, people are paying more money and I can get it for you if you just allow me to do it. That's exactly what a pricing tool does. It also says, hey, on the days where I can't get that maximum rate, what's the lowest I can go to get you occupied? So it works for you. One, it's going to help you drive more revenue. It's also going to try to help increase your occupancy rate when you configure it correctly. All pricing tools need to get configured. A couple of pricing tools that we recommend are going to be PriceLabs and Wheelhouse. There's other pricing tools that are out there as well. But one thing for sure, I would not suggest you turn on smart pricing within the Airbnb platform.
Right. Yeah. Smart pricing. We do have another video about what is smart pricing and why you shouldn't use it. Short answer, do not use smart pricing. That is not smart. That is what Airbnb considers smart. It's smart on Airbnb, smart not on your part to turn that little button on because they're going to try to drive your prices down in order to get your occupancy up, making you feel like you're going to be making more, but you're just leaving money on the table. The dynamic pricing, essentially what they're doing is like if you imagine you had a crystal ball and you could see into the future and into the past about how people are traveling, how people are booking properties, how long people are booking for, all of these different variations, things like the nightly rates that people are willing to pay, how far out people are booking, how many people are booking in the area, how much of a demand, is there an event in the area that you don't know about? You'd have to be keeping track of all of these different things. I don't think anybody has that. Sure, there are savants out there that just know their market and they've been there for years and years and years. And some of the more traditional vacation rental managers, they know their markets inside and out. They're like, I don't need to pay a dynamic pricing. I know what's going on. Sure, they might know that, but things are always changing too. There's things. Just don't try to figure out all these things. Use a dynamic pricing tool. They're very affordable, very cheap. It can find out all this information for you, and then it can price your property accordingly. You do want to know how much is going to be your base price. And we do have other videos on this channel, which we can include down in the description about how to price your vacation rental, your short-term rental property, because there are a few numbers that you do need to know, things like your base price and your minimum price. Those are some basic numbers, but once you do know those numbers, and they're pretty easy to find out, we can walk you step by step on how to do that. Then you can incorporate a dynamic pricing. You set it, you don't want to forget it, but you can rest assured that it's going to be working. You can get a lot more specific with your dynamic pricing. John, maybe you can kind of talk about some of the cool things that you can do once you do want to dial in dynamic pricing.
Yeah, absolutely. So just like the airlines, you can do occupancy-based pricing based upon if you're 80% occupant, instead of going down because you possibly are within 15 days of that actual stay, maybe the price goes up and that person books at a premium rate just to fill the gap. That might be something that you'd want to tweak or do. I do it in my business and I find that it actually is really good. It also helps deter last minute riffraff, where somebody could be booking super cheap over just a gap stay, maybe that ends on a Friday. And instead of paying $100, they're paying $180. That's great. At the same time, tweaking for other things where you're far out, the pricing tool knows that, hey, I'm far out. I'm going to be elevated during these months. But if somebody wants to book a year out, I'm going to be fair in my price. I'm not going to be outrageous. I'm going to be fair. That way, that person can book that wants to look all the way out there. Other tweaks that you can do within the pricing tool is set up your gap stay requirements. Not only are we talking about pricing, we're talking about how your bookings come in and the minimum stays that need to be there. So again, if I'm booking far out, I want that person to stay longer than 5 days. If I'm booking short in, this person might be able to stay a minimum of 3 days or 2 days. If I'm booking somewhere in between, maybe my minimum stay requirement is 4 days. That way you get nice lengthy reservations, fill up the calendar, and then you go in at a shorter time to fill up the little gaps. Pricing tools help you manage those things. They allow you to grab a lot of revenue that you could be leaving on the table. At the same time, they keep you competitive. When other people are using the exact same pricing tool, the pricing tool does aggregate that data and then places it against yours and says, hey, this person's charging a little bit more or getting a little bit more. We can probably crank yours up to about that same rate. It's something that works for you, not against you. That's why you need it to incorporate within your business.
John, I hear a lot of our students, when they get to the stage of the program where they are starting to implement that dynamic pricing and they've done the market research, they've used the profit breakdown calculator, they know how much they should be pricing, and now they plug it in. Maybe they didn't have, maybe their market, after they did their market research, they found out kind of what is being charged. They turn on that dynamic pricing and they're just like, whoa, I feel like I should be turning this thing off. It's telling me that I should be charging a whole lot more than what everybody else in my market is doing. Can you kind of talk about that? Should we be turning off our dynamic pricing if it is going above and beyond maybe even what the market is willing, or what we perceive the market is willing to pay for?
Just because you think that it's not going to be able to achieve whatever price you set, pricing tools aren't stupid. Right? They're not just going to throw out a odd number. It might know something that you don't know. I remember one of the times I used one of the pricing tools and I didn't think anything was going on, but these 2 days were like really high. I clicked on the pricing tool. This was Wheelhouse. It told me what the event was. You know what it was? It was Share. Share came to town and locked up the highways. I'm talking red lights everywhere. Didn't even think that anything like that would happen. But the pricing tool said, hey, for some odd reason, I can go and grab $400 for these 2 nights. And here I go. What? $400? No way. Well, all the other places were booked up. Hotels were slam packed. Other rentals were slam packed. Now I'm roughly the only survivor at $400 a night. And guess what? Somebody booked it. You don't want to necessarily cap the pricing tool. Sometimes your intuition is a little right, but let it do its magic first, because most of them are automated enough to say, hey, I went up this high, I didn't get booked. Next time I'm going to go this high. And I got booked there. Let's record that. I'm going to go a little lower and I'm going to go a little higher. Okay, well, this is where I'm booking. I'm going to put this as the high for my unit. As long as it's getting you more money, why would you want to turn it off? Right? Don't let your brain just outthink the thinking machine that can calculate millions of points quicker than you can. Just, I don't think it's worth that, or I think that's too high. Or the one that we hear the most, my neighbor isn't priced that high, so why would I go that high? Well, your neighbor's stupid. Are you? No, you're not. Let the thing do what it does. Your neighbor will follow suit after you. And maybe when seasonality comes in, your neighbor will still think, oh, I'm up here. And your pricing tool says, low season's coming. Let's get booked. Now your neighbor is the one that's stuck up here and you're the one getting booked up. Great examples. Definitely get a pricing tool.
All right. And of course, we'll include some links down below where you can actually get some discounts, some pretty sweet discounts from the pricing tools. We've been able to work out some nice, sweet affiliate links for you where you can get some discounts on that. We'll include that down in the description below. Feel free to use them. You don't have to. It helps us out. It helps you out though. So definitely recommend clicking those links down below. Question of the day, are you using dynamic pricing, or did this video convince you to start using dynamic pricing? Would love to be able to know in the comment section down below. And until next time, Host Nation, keep on hosting.
Hey, Host Nation, would you like to work directly with Julian and I to help you start and scale your own short-term rental business? Go to shorttermsage.com/coaching to attend our step-by-step training and learn how we can work together. Looking forward to talking to you soon.
Hope you hosts found value in this episode. If you did, please go on over to iTunes and leave us a review, as that would greatly support the show. If you'd like to connect with John, the community, and I, then go on over to our Facebook group, The Host Nation. Talk to you hosts in the next episode. Keep on hosting.